Do people in Canada have cable? Like other people?
We keep this up in the playoffs. I don't care.
And at Chili's. Is it a Chili's? At Kyle's?
Achilles.
Finally.
You don't know that?
Say it.
Fuck you! Get this guy the fuck out of here!
Alright, well, coming in at number 5, I got Anthony Stolarz.
Now! Jets are winning the cup!
Wow, that was a crazy goal.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to episode number 70 of the NordCast. It is Thursday, September 5th. It's September already, 2024. I am your host here, Nordic97, joined with just Carter today. And I hate to break it to y'all, but I interrupted Carter from what was going to be a pretty great night when I reminded him, hey, we got to record a podcast. So, Carter, how are we doing today?
I was doing fantastic, but now I'm here. So I was excited, man. Oh my God. Everything was there. I had my projector outside. I had the football game ready to go. Thursday night football, Ravens, Chiefs. Going to be an absolute great game. Ready, had the hot tub ready, and then I get a text from Nordic. Are you in yet? I'm like, fuck.
You should have did it from the hot tub.
No, we do not want to see Carter tarps off. That is not a podcast I will ever do.
I feel like the bubbles would be like, they would make so much noise too. That's the other thing.
Yeah. I mean, I got a little rubber ducky in there. I named him Nelson. He's pretty chill.
Oh my God. All right, so you can tell by the title of this episode that we are starting our conference previews today. We wish we could have Jack here to join us, but he rather's doing volleyball tournaments over our podcast. So that's cool, I guess. But this is our Eastern Conference preview. We're going to go through each team in the Eastern Conference, kind of talk about them a little bit. We'll get more into that in later on in the episode. But first off, we do have a few things I want to go over. We'll go over like the episode stuff and content and what's going on with that. Obviously, as you guys probably saw, we are bringing more people into the fold. I mentioned it, I think, a few episodes back, but we finally put it back into fruition. I'll talk more about that at the end of the episode, so stick around till then. But first off, we got to go through some news around the NHL because there's been a lot. And I think that we have to start with what happened in New Jersey last week. Johnny Gaudreau and Matthew Gaudreau, two brothers, two great hockey players, both passed away in a bike accident last Thursday night. So about a week ago today was when both of them passed. They were both terrific. Gaudreau played in Boston College. Won a Hobie Baker, tore it up, even at his size. He's a small kid. He's not one of those bigger guys or an average-sized NHLer. He's a much smaller dude, and he didn't let that stop him. He played at the college level. He played at the NHL level. He was Calgary's cornerstone, essentially, for a while, and he was a fourth-round pick, too, which is the craziest part. Matthew, I didn't know a ton about. I know Matthew's definitely played some hockey. I think he played with Johnny at Boston College. I think so, yeah. So, and he also went on to play for the Reading Royals, played some ECHL time. He did play in the AHL, but recently he was going to be the coach of a USPHL team in Westchester, Pennsylvania. Absolute tragedy. We lost two amazing people in the hockey world. Carter, I got to ask you, what is Johnny Hockey has definitely been someone who has had a lot of great moments, but what's one that you remember the most and one that is your favorite?
So when I was younger, I was never really like into hockey. And so I never really followed the players. I didn't really know too much about it. I followed the Jets. I followed the Flyers. That was it. And I think my first memory of hearing the name Johnny Gaudreau was I was in the car with my dad. We were either coming back from one of my games or something, but we were in the car. We were listening to the game, and the Jets were losing, and we were like, okay, this game's kind of over. And the last goal that was scored was Johnny Gaudreau, and I think it was a hat trick goal. And because I think his first hat trick was against the Jets. I can't remember. I'll have to pull up the game. Actually, I'll check right now. But that was the first moment I remember of Johnny Gaudreau And since then, I kind of followed his career. I was a big fan of him, and Johnny Gaudreau. He's a guy that I think will he'll be missed for a long period of time. So it's really sad to see him go. But my first memory of Johnny Gaudreau is hearing his name being called as he scored I'm pretty sure a hat trick goal or just a regular goal that kind of ended the game. And he was a special player. I will say that he was a special player, and it sucks.
Yeah, it's horrible.
It sucks to lose a guy like that.
Yeah, it's horrible. I don't remember the first time I've heard Gaudreau's name. I don't remember that, but it's great that you remember that. My favorite memory of Gaudreau, it had to be during that 21-22 first round playoff series against Dallas. You go to game 7 overtime. He scores that goal. I don't know if you remember this, Carter, but he scored that goal from like an impossible angle. Like he was on the goal line at the left corner and tucked that in on Jake Ottinger at the time. And unreal. I remember like that game, watching that game. It was unreal. And Gaudreau after that went to Columbus, and he got a lot of flack for going to Columbus. But someone like him chose such a small market, and not only that, he did it for his family too. And I remember we talked about at the time that there was a place that his wife was working at, or Columbus had like one of the top hospitals. I remember like very early on with the NordCast, because when we started making episodes, it was around that time when he signed, and like he did it all for it's terrific, and it's actually so awful to see. But I gotta say that the outpouring support from not just the hockey world, but from everywhere else. We've seen multiple sports clubs come out and pay respects to Johnny, moment of silence. LeBron James, Jalen Hurts, just like, it's honestly just like incredible. The amount of support that it's received. And last night, at the time of recording of this podcast, was when they did multiple multiple like honors in Gaudreau, in Calgary, and Columbus, and it was terrific. Like, it was beautiful seeing all the candle lights and all that, and I saw the speeches from Werenski and Backlund. It's sad. It's so sad. And I remember when it was leaked, because the way that I found out, well, first off, when I found out, it wasn't even like really true. It was just like a rumor on Twitter, which first off, it should never be a rumor. The reporter who broke that news is a friend of mine, and I actually talk to him sometimes, but that was a moment where I was incredibly disappointed, and I cut him off, because that is something that you want to be first to get clicks, to get recognition, and that just doesn't stand by me. And that is just such an awful thing to do. But again, I gotta say, Gaudreau and Matthew doesn't get enough credit, but they're both terrific people, and it's horrible for the Gaudreau family. So, Carter, anything more you want to add?
Yeah, like, we're talking, like, we're not only losing a great hockey player, but you're losing, you know, a guy who put his family first, who a great teammate. Every single person that put anything out about him had nothing but great things to say. How they talked about him sounded like he had been their best friend for decades. Like, yeah. From every single person that talked about him, he was the most well-liked guy in the locker room. He was never not smiling. Like, this guy was just a great piece of energy to have. And it's so sad to see him go. And, just PSA, please, guys, don't drink and drive.
Yeah, exactly.
There are safer ways to get home. You call an Uber, call a cab, call a friend, call someone. You do not want to be the one to do this. This is not what you want, and it's sad that this is what happens, and this is how it happens, and so just be responsible, please.
Yeah,
and because you don't know who you're going to end up taking away of, especially it could be someone who means a lot to so many people, and yeah, so be safe, be responsible, please.
Yeah, it's absolutely horrible. There's no easy way to move on from that, but I will end it with this. There is a GoFundMe out there for Matthew Gaudreau's wife and their unborn child, and the money that's being raised. The last I looked at it, it was around $550K. I'm sure it's definitely risen since then. But I will put a link in the bio here if you guys want to go donate to this GoFundMe, because it's a horrible tragedy, and I think that they deserve all the love they can get, and I think that, yeah. So that is in the link in the description if you guys want to go donate to that.
I have one more thing.
One more thing.
I was right. The first time I ever heard Johnny Gaudreau was December 22nd, 2015. He had a hat trick against Winnipeg. And so, yeah, I was right. It was a hat trick goal. And that was the first time I ever heard. I remember hearing the name Johnny Gaudreau.
That's awesome that you remember that, honestly.
Yeah, it's so, because I was like 10. So I was 8 years. That's crazy. That was almost 9 years ago. Yeah.
It's wild. All right, moving on to some other news around the National Hockey League before we get into what we have in store for you today. Seth Jarvis knocked himself off of the restricted free agent market, signing an 8-year, $7.5 million contract. Now, here's the interesting thing about this contract. Carter, I don't know if you've read into what's happening with Jarvis in this deal, but the reason why they locked in Jarvis at this cap hit was because they deferred money to a 9th year in this contract. So I'm going to read a little bit here to kind of enlighten you guys a little bit. But it's been a little bit since this signing came out. It was actually like a week ago now at this point. But obviously, unfortunately, the way that we recorded our podcast last week and into this week, it kind of just, it made everything. Last week was a very busy week. But regardless, the deal valued at $63.2 million has a lower AAV and cap hit than $7.9 million because of the deferred signing bonus payment that goes to the player 1 day after the expiration of the contract. Deferred money has been allowed in the CBA to some degree, but no team has made any meaningful use of it to this point. A total of $15.67 million in signing bonus money has been set as a deferred compensation until July 1st, 2032. Which it shows the years in here, but I won't read those. The lower cap hit is a result of the money being calculated as present day value, not 2032 value when he will receive a set dollar amount. So I don't know if a lot of that made sense, but basically what it is that they are paying Jarvis at a $7.5 million hit, but when it comes to that 9th year, I think he gets a substantial amount of money the day that contract ends. So first off, I think it's great moves by Tulsky. We know Tulsky is very big into the analytics side of things and into things like this. And I think that overall the Hurricanes, we talked about it. They were in a very rough cap situation. And to be honest, it was going to be difficult for them to sign Jarvis and Natchez to both solid contracts. And they got it done. And they used this way of deferring money to make Seth Jarvis's contract way easier. But I think it's a great deal, honestly. Carter, you have any thoughts?
They got my Winnipeg boy. I think
they did, Winnipeg boy. That's right.
I like how he shouted out Winnipeg in his presser. Like,
did he really? That's awesome.
Yeah, he was like, I'm glad to be back here, not in my bedroom in Winnipeg.
Damn.
Guy wanted to be back in Raleigh so bad, but he deserves this. 100% he deserves
absolutely.
This. He brings so much energy to wherever he is, like, because as I've said, I work at the rink. Like, he trains there all summer. every single person there had nothing but great things to say about him. Everyone was rooting for him. Everyone was like, I wonder how much he's gonna get. Like he's like everyone loves him in Carolina. Like we all love him here, and just it's awesome. He deserves that 100%. Great move by the Carolina Hurricanes GM. Really using the loopholes to help, which is something that we've seen a lot of lately.
Yeah, we'll get into Carolina a little bit later on in this podcast, but great move there on Jarvis. Leon Draisaitl, and this is the next big thing we got to talk about. So I want to start off with this. The cool thing about filming this podcast, we've done this for 2 years, but we have witnessed 3 record-setting contracts in the 2 years we've done this. So we saw Nathan MacKinnon sign a contract that was the highest paid contract in the league in 2022. In 2023, we saw Auston Matthews break that record and sign a much higher contract in 2023. Now in 2024, and I think this is going to be a trend every year. Like there's going to be a player that just resets the market every season. Expect Connor McDavid to do it next year, but Draisaitl is the next one on that list. He signed an 8-year, $14 million contract that will begin in 2025-26. It is the highest average annual value deal in NHL history. Draisaitl coming off of a great season, a great playoff run. You could say what you want about how he lacked a little bit in the finals, but obviously he was injured. I love this deal. This is terrific for Edmonton. I know there were some people who were saying it was an overpay. Carter, do you agree with that? Or do you think this is another one of those examples where I kind of think of it as like the NFL, where like you get to the point where like there's a quarterback who will just set the market every single season? Seems like maybe that's what Draisaitl did here in some way. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, like yeah, 100%. I understand what you're saying. Yeah, like everyone who's saying that this is like an overpay, $14 million. This is a guy who he's been so good lately. Like let's be honest here. Like he's hit 100 points every season for the last 3 seasons. Since kind of his, like, we'll call it breakout in 2018, 2019, he has had 50 goals 3 times. He scored 40 plus 5 times. And the one time that he didn't was in the shortened season, and he still put up 31 goals and 84 points.
Exactly.
So anyone who's saying that he is not worth $14 million can honestly pipe it, because the cap's going up, hockey's gaining popularity, which means cap's going to go up. Eventually, you're going to see this as being like almost a $12.5 million deal now. But things are going to start getting really complicated for the Edmonton Oilers, because we're going to see Connor McDavid probably get north of $15 million next season, or in the next 2 seasons.
Yep, that's what I would imagine. I think honestly, like again, there's a lot of factors into why Draisaitl got 14. First off, he was being paid a terrific amount he was on a terrific contract before this. Like Peter Chiarelli, he didn't do a lot of great things in Edmonton. I understand that, but one of the things that he did really well was lock up Draisaitl to what was a terrific deal. So honestly, I think that he deserves this pay raise, and you got to look at something here too. So I want to look at this interesting stat, because it's definitely something that people kind of overlook a little bit. So if I'm correct, these are the points per game in the playoffs all time. So number 1, you got Wayne Gretzky, 1.8 points per game. Number 2, Mario Lemieux, 1.6 points per game. Number 3, you got Connor McDavid with 1.581, and then you have Draisaitl with a 1.459. So this is someone who in the playoffs has been unbelievable the last, I would say, 2 seasons. And even in 2023, one thing I remember, and I think we might have talked about it at the time when the Oilers got knocked out, was that Draisaitl had, I think it was like 17 goals in 2023, and they lost in the second round to Vegas. And it took until the Stanley Cup Finals for Marchessault to tie that. So it shows, and maybe some of that's playing the LA Kings in the first round every year. But Draisaitl, unreal playoff performer. He deserves this contract. I stand by that 100%. So, yeah. Anything more to add?
No, I got nothing more to add. But this is what he deserves. So you gotta live by it.
Yep. Right. A few more things here. Torrey Krug is out for the season for the St. Louis Blues due to undergoing a major surgery on his left ankle. It sucks. Krug, when he did his press conference, obviously he's definitely feeling terrible about it. He was brought to tears essentially over not playing. So that's unfortunate for the Blues. A few guys retired today. Mark Stahl announced his retirement at age 37 and is joining the Rangers as a player development assistant. He is obviously known for his time with the Philadelphia Flyers. Just kidding. He spent, I think, 14 seasons with the Rangers, 2 with the Red Wings, 12 seasons with the Rangers, 2 with the Red Wings, 1 with the Panthers, and then this past year with the Flyers. I've said a few things on the podcast this past season about how Mark Stahl is not a great defenseman. I've said things like that, but he's had a great career. He deserves it. And he is he is the second of 3 Mark Stahls three Stahl brothers to retire. Additionally, too, Alex Goligoski retired. He played a couple of years in Minnesota, Arizona. He bounced around the league a little bit. But congratulations to him on retirement. Did you see that the Senators signed Nikolai Kulemin to a PTO? Did you see that?
No.
Nikolai Kulemin. So first off, do you know who Kulemin is?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, Kulemin was someone who played a long time in the NHL. He spent the last 6 seasons in the KHL, and now he's coming back over to the NHL. For Ottawa, but it's a little bit of an interesting move, but I guess we'll see. And one more final thing here before we get into our actual conference preview. It's funny, we're almost 30 minutes into the episode. We haven't even started yet. Jeremy Swayman, there's some new reports on that him and the Boston Bruins are reportedly far away from signing a contract soon. Ryan Whitney of Spit and Chicklets, I'm not sure how legitimate that is, says that the last offer to Jeremy Swayman was a 4-year deal at $6.2 million. And there were reports that Swayman wanted 10. There were also reports that he also said that Boston hasn't been in contact with Swayman's camp in weeks. So, first off, Carter, it's from Ryan Whitney at Spin and Chicklets. Do you believe this?
Yeah.
You believe it? Really? Why?
Just because they are the ones that are bringing about it doesn't mean that the sources that they get it from are bullshit.
That's true. I'm not saying it isn't.
No, I hear you. But I'm saying, just because, yes, they put out some things that are not always correct, if there's a team that I trust them getting info from, it'd be the Boston Bruins.
They kind of are aren't they a Boston-based podcast?
For the most, well, yeah, I think so, kind of.
I know obviously they travel around a lot, but I know that a lot of I think RA is from
Boston.
Yeah.
And then a lot of them, I think, so, and I'm pretty sure Barstool started.
Yeah. And I know Grinelli, the producer.
He's in Massachusetts.
He's a big Bruins fan.
Yeah.
But anyway,
we digress. I would listen to it. It honestly wouldn't surprise me because I feel like Boston's going to try and save as much money as possible, and I think that they're going to shoot themselves in the foot and make Swayman mad. So,
yeah.
We'll see.
Swayman has every right to ask for $10 million, though, if that rumor is true.
Yeah.
But overall, definitely such a weird situation right now with the Boston Bruins. I don't want to get too much into it because we have so much we got to get into later.
I got one last thing. I hope he signs so he can play the next few seasons so I can sell his Young Guns cards.
Oh, yes.
I still have two. Yes.
How many of you did you sell off a few of them?
No. I only had 2. I have 2.
Okay.
I have 2 Swaymans. I got 2 Caulfields as well. So
Oh yeah.
things are good. Things are good.
All right. Okay, that's all I got for news. Was there anything that you wanted to talk about?
I got nothing.
Okay, cool.
Let's get into this.
Yeah, we'll get into our conference preview. As you can tell, we're already almost 25 minutes into this episode. This is going to be a long one. So basically, we're going to go through each team and each conference, kind of talk about them a little bit, ask what our floor is, the ceiling. We'll talk about kind of like leading scores and MVPs and stuff, breakout players, and all that good stuff. And we'll get into a few more stuff that I will throw in here throughout the episode. So first off, do you want to go with Metro or Atlantic to start? Or does it not matter?
I'm good with anything. Whatever you want to do.
All right, we'll start off with Atlantic because I feel like Atlantic's going to spark a lot of debates. Let's start off with the Boston Bruins, ironically enough. So first off, Boston, they finished, I should probably pull up the league standings. The Bruins finished second in that Atlantic division. They obviously beat Toronto in the first round, and then they ended up losing to the Florida Panthers in 6 games that following round. Overall, Boston brought in a lot of moves. They brought in Elias Lindholm. They brought in Nikita Zadorov. They traded away Ullmark, brought in Korpisalo. But overall, they made a couple moves to their roster like they do every single year, essentially. But, Carter, my question for you, and we'll start off with this. What is your floor? Or what do you think is the lowest this team will finish in the conference? Or the we'll say standings.
Sorry,
Overall.
which team again? Sorry, I was just pulling up my list.
What is what is the lowest you think they'll finish in that Atlantic division?
Which team? Boston?
Boston.
So the lowest I can see Boston going in their division is 4. Okay. I don't see them, and I think the highest that I could see them go is the 2. I don't see them getting. I think they'll kind of hover around that 2, 3, 4 spot kind of all season. I don't see them jumping any higher, and I don't see them kind of getting any lower than that. I think that's kind of their fluctuation point, which is how it's been for the last few years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that they could finish 5th is the lowest I could see them going. There's a chance that like Tampa pops off, or one of those teams down below like really has a good year and rises above Boston. I think that's possible. But again, I think the lowest they can get is 5th. The highest is 2, same as you. I think there's one team, and we both know who it's going to be. But overall, I think that Boston will finish around that spot. Who is your leading scorer or MVP for Boston? I think we have the same one, probably.
Leading scorer or because my MVP is Jeremy Swayman.
Oh, okay. All right, we'll do leading score and MVP. So okay. My score and MVP is Pastrnak.
Okay, my leading score would be Pastrnak, but my MVP is going to be Jeremy Swayman.
Okay, that's what I figured. I think again, unless Swayman doesn't sign, then that's a different conversation. But I think he will. There's plenty of time. He
should. They got enough time. Usually, some guys hold out in training camp. Anyways, they got a month for him.
100%. Who is your breakout player for the Bruins? You can say no one if you don't think there's anyone. I'm not going to make you say like Justin Brazeau or something. It doesn't have to be like a big like point year either. It could be someone like Mason Lohrei who like plays great on the blue line.
Yeah. I'm going to say a guy who I think will have a really good season. I don't know if you could really classify him as a breakout, but I'm going to classify him as one anyway. I'm going to say Charlie McAvoy. I think he's due for a big year. I think we're going to see him. I think we could see him get thrown into the Norris conversation this year.
Okay, I like that one. I'm going to go on the blue line as well. I'm going to say the example that I had, Mason Lohrei. I think he played first pairing minutes with McAvoy this past year. He's actually heading into a contract year. So I think that he's someone I could see having a big breakout year. Not necessarily maybe not points, but I think he's someone who could definitely put up a pretty good season with the Bruins. All right, the last part here for each team that we're going to do is rank each part of their team out of 10. So their offense, their defense, and their goaltending out of 10. So we'll start off with the offense. What do you think?
I think I'd go with a Let me see. Man, I'm just looking at their roster right now. That
You
first,
can do like decimals too, I guess, like a 7.5 or whatever if you want.
yeah, I'd give it a 7. 6. I'll give it a 6.5. That I'm not a big fan of that bottom 6. We're gonna have to see how Poitras plays. Even that second line's not looking too standing out to me. So I'll go 6.5 because they got the star power in Marchand and Pasternak, and then Elias Lindholm, who they just brought in, which I think will be a great piece. So they got the star power up front, but it's that bottom 6 and a little bit of that second line that's got me a little worried.
Yeah, they're really top heavy, I would say. The first line's terrific. After that, it kind of gets a little bit, but I do think there's some young guys who could have a good year. Poitras is obviously one of them. Beecher, I thought, would look good in the playoffs. Mark Kastelik, they brought in as well. Didn't even mention that. I'm going to say 7.5 because I think that overall, I do think that second line, like Charlie Coyle, could really have a regression year because he's probably not going to be playing that first line center role with Pasternak. So I think that could affect his production a little bit. But overall, I think it's a 7.5. The defense.
I like their defense a good amount. I'm going to go 7.5 on this.
Really? I'm going 9 here. I think that's a terrific top 5, to be honest.
Like it's a very good defense, but I mean, it's not like I'm looking at 8 as being like you have your number 2 pairing is borderline a number 1 pairing.
Oh, okay.
So that's how I'm kind of looking at it. But I mean, you know what? I'll go 8 for it. I'll go 8, and I'll 9 or above. I'm thinking like you're stacked. Like I'm talking, you got Devon Taves on your second pairing, kind of thing.
All right, and goaltending. I think goaltending. See, Swayman's really good, but then there's Korpisalo. Like I think Korpisalo could be better as a backup, but like I don't know. I want to know what you think first.
So I think Swayman I'd put as he's a top 10 goalie, so I'd put him at a 9. Korpisalo, I think he kind of just got.
He had a horrible year last year, but so did Ottawa. To be fair,
yeah. So you can't really blame him too much. I'm gonna go 8.
Yeah, I'm gonna go 7.5. Actually, no, I'm gonna go 8 as well. I think Korpisalo is in for not a bounce back year, but he's in for a much better year than last year because it doesn't get much worse than it was that past year. Some other things that I do want to talk about. I'm gonna make some over-unders for you. Boston Bruins. So they had 47 wins this past year. Over under 49.5.
Under.
Wins. Under, really?
I don't see them breaking 50.
Okay. Moving into some of the stats now. Over under Pasternak 105 points. He had 110 this past year.
I'll take the over.
Okay. Brad Marchand had 67 points last year. He's heading into a contract year. Over under 75 points.
Ooh, I thought you were gonna pick 70. I'll take the over.
Okay. You think he's gonna have like not like a breakout year, but like a really good year because it's a contract?
I think he'll have enough to just hit 75 or a little over.
Okay. All right. My last one here. Jeremy Swayman over under 40 wins this coming year.
You just glitched out throughout that whole thing. I did not catch a lick of what you said.
Yeah, you were frozen too for me. I'll say that again. Over on Jeremy Swayman over under 40 wins. He had 25 last year.
Ooh. I'm gonna say under because I don't see them breaking 50, and if I don't see them breaking 50, I do not think that Korpisalo is gonna get under 10. So I'm gonna take.
What about 35?
I could see. I think I take the under. I think I could see him at like 32.
Okay. All
Like
right.
he'll get more playing time, but I also don't think that the Bruins are going to be unreal. I think they're going to put him at like they're going to cap him at like 60 some games and put Korpisalo through like 20, 25.
Probably.
And I think Swayman. I think 35 is pretty.
This is Barney signs. Like we're talking about like he's signed already.
Yeah, that's true. I'll take the under. I'm going to take the under.
Okay, I believe that. Looking at and I've been doing this for my season previews on my YouTube channel, but looking at the Hockey News' yearbook and fantasy guide, the Hockey News has them 4th in the Atlantic. It has their cup odds at 28-1, and it has their top 3 point scorers being Pastrnak with 110, Elias Lindholm with 70, Marchand with 63, and then obviously their biggest X factor facing this team is the popular question is secondary scoring, but there's no perennial 50-win team has leaned as heavily on its goaltending as the Bruins during the goalie hug era. Swayman boldly checks all the boxes, but a career contract and 50-plus starts constitute uncharted territory. If he gets injured, can Korpisalo step up? So something to think about there with the X factor. Again, Swayman we talked about a lot, but any more thoughts on the Boston Bruins?
I got nothing.
Okay, we'll move into the second team in the Atlantic. This is going to take a while. The Buffalo Sabres. They made a lot of moves. They missed the playoffs for the 13th straight season this past year. They went 39, 37, and 6 for 84 points. They were 6th in that Atlantic division. They made a few moves. They traded away Matthew Savoy for Ryan McLeod and Tucker Tullio. They bought out Jeff Skinner, let go of Zegmas Girgensons. They brought in James Reimer as their third-string goaltender. They brought in Jason Zucker, Nicolas Aube-Kubel, and a few other notable names that are definitely being talked about. But overall, Carter, what is the floor for this Sabres? Where's the lowest you see them going? You have a smile on your face right now, so I'm a little scared.
Yeah, you brought up Matthew Savoy trade, and I just find that still funny.
I know. It's still ridiculous, to be honest.
Okay, so the floor I have for them is I have them 7th in the Atlantic. That is my floor for them, and I think that their peak is going to be the 4th in the Atlantic. I think that's their ceiling.
7-4 is what you see.
Yes.
Okay. I could see them finishing 8th. I'm not going to lie to you. I think with what Montreal is building, I could see them going 8th. That's my floor. My ceiling is also 4. I don't see them cracking into the top 3 unless one of those 3 teams has a massive crash out. But again, I think the Sabres will probably end up somewhere in the middle. Who is your leading scorer for this team coming up? We'll start with that.
For the Buffalo Sabres, my leading scorer is Dylan Cousins.
Okay. Mr. Canada, correct. My leading scorer is going to be Tage Thompson. Who's your MVP?
My MVP is, without a doubt, Rasmus Dahlin.
Yeah, I was going to say Rasmus Dahlin as well. Carries that blue line.
Mm-hmm.
Next up, then, a breakout player. Someone who you think is going to have a good year.
The guy who they acquired at the trade deadline last year, Mr. Bowen Byram.
Oh, that's a good pick. I like that pick. I think I'm going to pick someone from the blue line too, Owen Power.
Yeah.
He had a really bad year last year. I think that he's in for a bounce back.
This defensive core is going to, if they can somehow manage to keep these guys together for a long period of time, in 2 years, even next year, or maybe not next year, but like, this is a scary blue line.
It is. It really is. I think that, honestly, the top 4 is really good.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of, can they stay healthy? That's the biggest thing.
I'm high on Buffalo, but I'm also like scared of Buffalo because they haven't proven much.
Yeah, I know. I've always been saying the last couple of years, it's got to be the year they make the playoffs, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
They end up doing like a complete opposite of that, turning a 180. If you had to rank their offense out of 10, not gonna lie, you got a lot of young talent in here.
There's a lot of young talent, and I like I like this second line a lot better than Boston's.
Okay.
Like by far. Even that, like this third line's really good too. I'm gonna go 8.
I'm gonna go just because there's a lot of like uncertainty. I'm gonna go 7.5.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think that the first line again, it's like Boston. They're really top heavy. Great first line. Second line, a lot of young guys, kind of a little some what ifs. But overall, I think that if everyone pans out, this is a really good team. If all the young guys, imagine if all of them broke out at the same time, like you're in for one hell of a treat there in Buffalo.
Yeah.
Defense, what do you think? I gotta get my charger. Hang on.
The defense. Well, for the defense for the Buffalo Sabres, I'm gonna go with a nice little 9.
Ooh, you have them above Boston, man. I'm gonna go.
Yes.
I'm gonna go 8. I think that's where I'm sticking with Buffalo.
Listen,
It's young. That's
I'm
the biggest.
very high on this Buffalo defense.
I like it. I like that a lot. And their goaltending. UPL had a good year last year, and
He
maybe
did.
Levi takes a step.
He did have a good year. I just need to see this Devin Levi step really bad.
Yeah.
Like I was so high in Devin Levi. I still am high on Devin Levi, but
Oh, me too. But
I need that breakout for him. I need it. I don't think it's this year though. Otherwise, I obviously would have picked him for my breakout. I think we're gonna have one more year of kind of what's he gonna do, and before we get something. But oh god, I don't know. I think I'd go 7 flat. I'm gonna go 7 flat.
I'm gonna go 6.5. I don't know. I think UPL had a really good year last year, but could that second half of the season, could that be a fluke? That's what I'm asking myself, to be honest. But overall, I think Buffalo is an interesting team. Some over-unders here for you. Tage Thompson had a down year last year, 56 points in 71 games played. Over under 70 points this year for Thompson.
I'll take the over.
I'm honestly, I might be slamming the over. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah.
Because I think Thompson had a down year last year and he's going to be pissed off. Zach Benson. Benson played 71 games this past year, had 30 points, scored 11 goals. Zach Benson, over under 50 points this coming year.
Ooh. I'm gonna say under, but I think if he ends up beating out Jason Zucker for that second line spot, I think I could see him making it. But I just don't see him on this third line breaking 50. So I'll keep it at that.
Okay, I like that. We'll go with UPL. UPL, over under a .910 this coming year, save percentage. He had one of those this past year. Exactly .910.
I'm gonna take the under.
I'm gonna go either right on the dot. I don't know how you say it, like dead on when you're betting.
I don't know. Push.
I'm gonna say he either gets dead that or he's gonna be under. That's kind of where I think is gonna be with UPL. But yeah, going to the Hockey News' fantasy guide, the Sabres are projected 5th in the Atlantic. Their cup odds are 42-1. The X Factor, Kevin Adams methodically rebuilt the Sabres, refusing to take any shortcuts. Instead of quick fixes, he tried to set the team up for consistent success. But the Sabres have matured and entered a new phase. There are playoff expectations, and if the team falls short, there could be another regime change. The leading point projections for the Sabres, Tage Thompson at 72, Tuck at 68, and Dahlin at 63. So, two things we forgot to mention before we move on to the next team. First off, Buffalo has a new coach. They hired, I guess it's not really new because he was there before. They hired Lindy Ruff as their brand new coach. And additionally, I think this could be the last year we see Kevin Adams as GM in Buffalo. What do you think, Carter? Do you think that if Buffalo misses the playoffs, do you think that he's going to be let go? He's been there for a while.
Yeah. Because I think you got to utilize your time with this young core on their somewhat cheaper deals. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of where I view that. But overall, Buffalo, interesting young team. We'll see what they do this year. Moving on to the Detroit Red Wings. The Red Wings are they had a big year last year. They went from being a rebuilding team to coming close to the playoffs. They went 41, 32, and 9 for 91 points. They were fifth in the league, fifth in the division this past year. They were exactly 1 point from making the playoffs. They made a lot of moves this past offseason. They let go of Gostisbehere. They let go of Perron. They let go of Wallman. They let go of Sprong. And they brought in guys like Tarasenko, Eric Gustafson, Cam Talbot. They made a few other moves too, re-signing Patrick Kane as well. I almost said Patrick Laine. But overall, Carter, what is your floor and ceiling for this Red Wings team?
So my floor for this Red Wings team is gonna actually be 6th in the Atlantic is their floor, and I think their ceiling is gonna be 3rd in the Atlantic. I could see this team making a very strong case for top 3 in their division, especially looking at how Raymond ended off last season, looking at Mort Seider, who's ready for another step. And then you're going to get a full-time year of Patrick Kane and Alex DeBrincat together. You brought in Vladimir Tarasenko, another goal scorer who can, like, if you're looking at that, like, you replace, okay, like, obviously Tarasenko and DeBrincat aren't two of the same goal scorer, but you replace, no matter where you put Kane on that first or second line, there's a scorer on that line for him to get the puck to.
Yeah, I agree. My floor is 6. Actually, I have the same as you. My floor is 6. My ceiling's 3rd. I think that honestly, this team, they are either going to have another year where they kind of build this core up, or they're going to have a year where they break in. I think honestly, last year they looked really exciting. My only concern is the defense and the goaltending. That's really the only thing that I'm concerned about. Who is your leading scorer projected for the Red Wings?
My leading scorer for the Detroit Red Wings, Lucas Raymond.
Yeah, so I think we both have Raymond. Your MVP.
Ooh, my MVP.
I'm going to say Dylan Larkin.
Yeah?
Captain. I think he brings more than just scoring.
That's a fair one. I was going to stick with Lucas Raymond. Or no, sorry, not Lucas Raymond, sorry. Mort Seider.
Okay, I like that. I mean, he has a very good case for MVP.
I think that's different from what I actually. I had in my thing. I had Raymond, but I could see Raymond or Seider. I was struggling between the two, but it's gonna flip flop for a while for me. I'll never make up my mind.
Yeah, and again, those are two guys who have not signed contracts yet, so we're obviously waiting for that to go down. But regardless, it'll happen. It'll definitely happen. We'll see it soon.
Yeah.
A breakout player for this coming year. This is an interesting one because I don't really know who I could see having a breakout year necessarily.
They don't have a lot of
Yeah, they don't. I don't know. I'm gonna go a little bit off the board. Joe Veleno. They want him to have a bigger role this year with the team. I think Veleno is one that could. I don't know. What do you think?
I was gonna say Andrew Kopp.
Kopp's another one. Kopp's definitely another one. But I think Veleno, they want him to take a bigger role this year. There's a chance that he does have a little bit of a breakout year. But again, I don't know. If you had to rate their offense out of 10, they have a really good top 6. The bottom 6 is eh. Yeah. So I'm gonna go solid 7.
That's fair. I'm gonna go 7.5. I like it a little bit better.
I don't know. I love that top 6. That's my biggest thing.
That top 6 is really, really nice. When we get to our Western division, you're gonna hear me talk about this when we get to the last team of that, and that's the Winnipeg Jets. But they need a 2C, and that top 6 is unbelievable.
Oh, absolutely.
That's the only thing they're missing.
Yeah. Comfort is good and all, but he's not he shouldn't be a second line center. Come on. Their defense. I'm gonna say 4.5. I don't like it. I don't like it outside of Seider and Edvinsson. Their 7th D's Justin Hall, and they're paying him $4 million.
I like Jeff Petrie. Or no, who am I? Is he the guy I'm thinking? No, there's someone I'm thinking of. Is it Matheson that I'm thinking? There's someone who. There was someone. I don't know who I'm thinking of, but there was a guy who it might not. No, it definitely wasn't Petrie.
You got Ben Sherratt,
Yeah.
Moritz Seider, Simone.
Yeah, no. I have their roster pulled up. Yeah, okay, maybe it wasn't them. Yeah, I kind of agree with you on that one. It's not the greatest. I'd go 5, just because that first pairing is really good. Mort Sider's unbelievable. I think he's a top defenseman in the league.
Yeah, absolutely. Their goaltending, I think it's better than the defense. I'm gonna go 6, but I don't know. Like Talbot for me is a wild card. He's a what if. I'm gonna go
5-5.
Okay.
I'm gonna go 5 actually. You need a guaranteed first goalie, and I don't
They
see
didn't
it.
solve that today. They didn't solve that this year.
No.
I do think though, like when you get to the point where obviously, the team, you get Kosa and Augustine to come in, I think that'll make things easier. But overall, again, not ideal whatsoever. Moving into the over-unders that I have for you. Vladimir Tarasenko, over under 50 points with the Red Wings this coming year.
I'll take the over.
Okay. Lucas Raymond had 31 goals last year. Over under Raymond 33.5. That's really specific.
Who?
Raymond
on goals?
Raymond 33.5 goals.
Oh, over.
Okay.
I got him scoring 40 this year.
Okay. Cam Talbot over under 0.905. Under, really?
905?
Who do you think's going to step up to the plate then? Alex Lyon? Because if Talbot has below a 0.905, he's probably not going to be your starter.
Well, I know, but I'm saying here's my thing. Here's my thing is that if they are to reach their ceiling, it is going to come from their high-powered offense.
Probably.
I think we're going to see almost like an Edmonton scenario with a worse goaltender, because I think I would much rather have Stuart Skinner. But I think we're going to see something like that, but it's just going to have to be a little bit worse goaltending, and they're just going to have to rely on their offense.
Yeah, I agree. Moving into the Hockey News' fantasy guy, we'll try and move a little bit more quicker here, but the Red Wings are projected 6th in the Atlantic. Their cup odds are 50-1. Their X factor is asking for more from players in their 30s, such as Kane and Tarasenko could prove fully. The real X factor could be Raymond. He took a huge step forward in production last season, his 3rd in the NHL. The 2020 first rounder scored 14 goals in Detroit's final 18 games. And the projected points for this coming year, you got Raymond at 82, Larkin at 77, and DeBrincat at 68. So some interesting names there. But again, Detroit, if they don't make it this year, I know people are expecting them to get in, but if they don't make it this year, it's not that big of a deal. I understand you want to see playoffs. You haven't seen playoffs in like 9 years in Detroit, but they have a pretty good prospect pool that they're building. You have guys like Edmondson who will come up this year. Pellica could get some time. Danielson, Casper, Nygaard. There's a lot of good names in this Red Wings pool. It's just a matter of, can they get in? It's the biggest thing. Moving in now to the Florida Panthers, the Stanley Cup champions. They finished 52-24-6 for 110 points. First in that Atlantic Division. They went on to beat Tampa. They beat Boston. They beat the Rangers. And then they beat the Oilers in 7 games. Carter, I'm going to not waste much time here because we know what Florida can do. What is your floor and ceiling for this team?
Ceiling is the 1.
Yeah, the 1.
Yeah.
Floor, I could see them going 3. Possibly. But I'm not 100% sure. It's only if they kind of take a step back because their core definitely got weaker. But I don't know. What do you think?
Lowest I see them going is 2.
Yeah, I'm agree with you. Honestly, I think they're top 2 again.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I don't see them falling
Yeah.
off.
right.
Crazy.
Who is your leading scorer?
My leading score, Matty Kachuk.
Mm-hmm. I figured as much. Your MVP, I'm going to say Barkov, actually.
Sorry. Hold on, I gotta look at the I'm gonna go Carter Verhaeghe. I'm gonna take a little off the board here. I'm expecting a breakout. He's gonna be my breakout player.
Okay.
I'm expecting a big year from Verhaeghe.
Okay, I like that. I forgot to mention too. They let go of a lot of guys. They let go of Brandon Montour, OEL, Tarasenko, Stolars, amongst others. They didn't bring anyone in that was noteworthy. Maybe we'll bring them up later on in the episode. But if you have, actually, I need a breakout player. My breakout player is going to be. Can't really pick him because it's his rookie year. I'm gonna say, I think Spencer Knight is a good year as the backup. I think he needs that.
I agree.
I think he needs a bounce back year. Rating the team's offense, I'm going to say a 9.5. I don't think it's a 10, but I'm going to go 9.5.
I agree.
Okay.
I agree.
Defense, I think it got a little bit worse. I'm going to go 8. Maybe a little lower, to be honest. I don't know.
I'm gonna go 7.5.
Okay. Goaltending, I think is I don't know, because you got Bob, and then you got kind of just like an backup. I'm gonna go 9.5.
9?
What do you think?
9.5.
I think Bob carries that.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. I was gonna go 9.
Yeah, I think 9's fair, actually. I agree with that. Over-unders, I didn't even pull them up. Give me a second here. So the Panthers obviously had 52 wins this past year. Over-under 55 wins.
I'm gonna take the over.
Really? You think that they're gonna get 55 wins? I'm slamming under. Honestly.
I don't know. I'll take a slight under.
Okay. I'm not saying you have to change your opinion, but like
No. But you kind of Then I kind of thought about it, and
all right. Sam Reinhart. This isn't really an over/under question, but Reinhart had 94 points last year, 57 goals. Do you see Reinhart regressing a little bit, or staying at that same level?
I see him regressing.
Okay, that's what I figured. Over/under 40 goals though, or 45 goals for Reinhart though.
45.
Yeah, he had 57 last year.
I'm gonna take the over. I think it's gonna be just a bit over.
Okay. So Matthew Tkachuk, even though like he had a good year, he kind of went down in production a little bit. Because obviously overall just was a year that wasn't like particularly lucky for him. Over under Matthew Tkachuk 100 points. He had 88 this past year.
Over.
Over? Okay, that's what I figured. Moving into the Hockey News' fantasy guide, they have the Panthers first in the Atlantic. Their cup odds are 13-1. Their biggest X factor is the Panthers have the core in place to make another run at the Stanley Cup. It's just a matter of whether their depth and power play can withstand the losses in free agency. Forsling is a wild card on the power play, while Lundell needs to carry Florida's bottom 6 for them to be successful. And the point projections, Barkov at 86, Reinhart at 83, Tkachuk at 101. Didn't see him up there. Barkov at 86 and Reinhart at 83. So not bad. Again, I'll ask this question to wrap up. Do you think Florida can win a second in a row? Reminder, they've been to 2 straight finals.
I don't think so.
Really? I don't think so either. I think it's possible, but I don't think so.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's hard for a team to get to 3 straight finals. It's extremely hard. We saw Tampa do it. Before that, what was it? I'm trying to think. Detroit?
I have no idea, honestly.
I don't know, but it's rare. It's a very rare thing to happen. I'm not saying it can't be done, but it's super rare. Apart from obviously a few years ago. Moving on now to the Montreal Canadiens. We're at the halfway mark in the Atlantic. Montreal, and let me pull them up here real quick. Montreal was a team that again finished 8th in the Atlantic last year with a 30, 36, and 16 for 76 points. They were 8th. They made a lot of moves, though. And by a lot of moves, I mean one. They brought in Patrick Laine, traded away Jordan Harris. They drafted Ivan Demidov, which is obviously a part of their future, not really something we want to talk about right now. But they do have some young guys coming up in the pipeline. Carter, what's your floor? I think it's 8. I think you should agree with me. It's obviously 8.
Yeah, I kind of got their floor at 8.
Ceiling, I'm going to go 6, to be honest. I think that's the highest I could see them going.
For my ceiling, I got them. Their ceiling is 4.
4?
Yeah.
Really? Is that the Patrick Laine bias?
No, it's not. It's not Patrick Laine.
Okay, what do you look at this team and think that defense and that forward core is a playoff team?
Looking at, hang on, let me go back and pull
The
it.
top 6, sure. I don't think the bottom 6 is really noteworthy of beating out Detroit, or honestly, you have to beat out Tampa to get that 4th spot right now. I don't know if I'm not trying to say change your opinion, but
No, I know. I don't know. I feel like just every year it seems like they're due for something and they just can't do it, and they gotta break through at some point.
okay, all right. Who is your leading scorer for this team? I'm gonna say Caulfield.
I'm going Nick Suzuki.
Okay, your MVP is also probably
My MVP is Cole Caulfield, though.
my MVP is Suzuki, so I got the opposite format
Okay.
of you.
Nice.
Who's your breakout player? I don't really want to pick a rookie. Slavkovsky kind of had a breakout year last year. Give me Caden Goulet. I mean, he's been decent the last couple of years, but I think that after signing that contract, he's due for he's due for like a much better year for sure. What do you think?
Yeah, he was a guy I was messing around with. But it's not Line, for sure not.
Oh, I didn't even think of Line.
Of course you didn't. You thought he was going to score 50 goals. I'm going Lane Hudson. As much as it's hard to pick a goalie, I think he's gonna take that top pairing away from Mike Matheson right away. And
Wow, that's a bold take. I mean, it's not bold, but I like that. Next
you gotta
up,
put up Brock Faber numbers.
oh yes. Next up, rate this team's offense out of 10. I'm gonna go a good 7. I'm gonna say 6.5. I think the top 6 is really good if it's healthy. I think that the bottom 6 is where it's not great. Defense, I'm gonna go the same ranking, 6.5.
7.
You think 7 as well? Okay. Goaltending, I'm gonna go 7. Why did your jaw drop like that? What are you saying that for?
There's no Carey Price.
I know, but I'll go 6. 6. I think Montebalt's a good goalie.
Okay. I'm gonna go 6.
Okay. You went the same ranking as me. Cool. All right. Cole Caulfield. He had 28 goals last year. Over under 35.
Over. He's getting
Over.
40.
Patty Laine. This one you're gonna like. Over under 40 goals as well.
Under.
You think? Actually, over under 30.
Over.
Okay. You think he's gonna finish in that mid-30s range?
38. Lock it in.
Okay. Juraj Slavkovsky had 50 points last year with Montreal in like what was called a breakout season. Over under 65 points this coming year.
Over. 70.
Ooh, okay. That's all I got. Moving on to the hockey news. They have the Habs 8th. Their cup odds are 65-1. Their X factor is the number one line has to keep producing. Doc must stay healthy, and Hudson must show that he can perform at the NHL level for the Habs to have any shot at the playoffs. Anderson also needs to deliver a rebound season with 3 years left on his contract and an annual $5.5 million cap hit. Again, I think that Anderson signed to that bad contract, definitely needs to improve on that. Their point projections, Suzuki 74, Slavkovsky 74, and Caulfield 72. A little bit outdated because Laine wasn't a part of the team in this. Again, Montreal rebuilding. Hopefully they'll get competitive again, but we shall see what they can do. Moving on to the Ottawa Senators. Up next, we're moving here along slowly but surely. Ottawa last year had a disappointing season. They went 37-41-4 for 78 points. They were 7th in the Atlantic. They brought in Travis Green as their new head coach. They let go of Jacob Chikrin, Korpisalo, Kupalik, Matthew Joseph. They made a lot of new ads. They brought in David Perron, Michael Amadio, Nick Jensen, and, of course, Linus Ullmark. Carter, what's your floor for the Sens?
8.
8? Okay. I'm going to go 8 as well. Actually, I'm going to go 7. 7 is what I'm going to say. Ceiling. Ceiling for me is 4.
You're not.
What?
Their ceiling is 7.
You're kidding, right?
I am so low on the Ottawa Senators. It's not even funny.
So you picked them to go to the finals the first year we do this, and now all of a sudden you're like unbelievably low on this team. Why? They got Ullmark. Their top 6 is great. Their defense is good.
So, where's I don't see a coach.
So
You
what?
I'm not high on this team at all.
Okay. All right. Leading scorer.
Stützle.
Stützle.
Yeah.
MVP. I'm saying Stützle as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Breakout player. I'm going to say Shane Pinto.
I'm gonna take Ridley Gregg.
Okay, that's a good pick too. Rate their offense, defense, and goaltending. Offense, I'm going an 8.
I'm also gonna go with an 8.
Okay. Defense, I'm going 7 or 8. 7.5 maybe. Between that range.
Nice, I'm going 7.
Okay. Goaltending, I'm going 7.5. Ullmark does carry that, but the backup's not that great.
I agree, 7.5.
Okay. So I gotta ask you, like, you agree with like what I'm saying and all these high rankings, but why are you so low on them? Why?
It's this whole Toronto Maple Leafs theory. You got a good team on paper, but can't perform.
Okay.
I don't. Here's the thing. I don't know what it is, but it's just the 2 straight years of Ottawa's gonna have a breakout year, finish bottom 10. Ottawa's gonna have a great year. Like, this is their year. They brought in Tarasenko. They brought in Chikrin. Bottom 10. And they haven't changed any of their top guys. So it's just a part of me that's like, they haven't proven anything to me yet to warrant me ranking them high.
Okay. All right. I see that.
That's
argument.
my thing.
I see that argument, but the team's got to break out at some point. All right. Over-unders. Stützle had 70 points last year, a down year for his standards. Over-under 80.5 points this coming year.
Over.
So 10 more points. Okay. Another one, Shane Pinto had 27 points in 41 games played last year. Over under 40 points for Pinto.
40 for Pinto. I could see over.
Okay. And finally, Linus Ullmark over under a .913.
Under.
I figured you were going to say under because
I got a question for you though.
Okay.
Are we allowed to take over unders on Shane Pinto?
That's great. No, we're not. That's a gamble. That was awesome. I wasn't even thinking about that. Oh my god, that's a good one.
Yes.
Moving into the hockey news. They have the Senators 7th in the Atlantic. So Carter, you're not that crazy. Their cup odds are 60-1. Their biggest X factor is in the past 2 seasons, the Sens have lost footing in the playoff race almost as soon as it begun. Ottawa started 5-8-1 in 22-23 and 6-7-0 in 23-24, with 7 of those 15 losses coming from division rivals. A hot start is key for Green Squad if they're going to earn their first playoff berth since 2017. I think of the Sens, they're similar to like Vancouver. Vancouver for so long had like horrible starts to the year. They'd make a change, and then they would have a really good second half, and then they would just not be able to make it. Kind of how I see Ottawa. Their point projections are Stützle 85, Tkachuk 80, and Batherson 70. So, not bad. Ottawa Senators, me and Carter are on opposite ends of them, but it should be another fun year for Ottawa. Next up then, moving into the Tampa Bay Lightning. They finished 4th in the division last year, 45, 29, and 8 for 98 points. They made it in on a wild card spot, lost to Florida in 5 games. They made a lot of moves. They lost Steven Stamkos. They lost Mikhail Sergachev. They let go of Duclair, Tyler Mott, Tanner Jeannot, deadline player Matt Dumba. But they brought in a few guys. They brought in Jake Gensel. They brought in Degmas Gergensen. They brought in Ryan McDonough again. They brought in Cam Atkinson and a few other ads. So, Carter, what is your floor for this Tampa Bay Lightning team? I'm going to say, not going to lie, I'm going to say 6th.
I think my floor for them is 5.
Okay. And your ceiling? I'm going to go 3.
Yeah, I'm going to go 3 as well.
All right. Yeah, I see them finishing in that range, to be honest.
Yeah.
If Toronto takes a step back, then I think that they're definitely going to be in that club. Your leading scorer? It's kind of an interesting one. Well, actually, I'm going to say Kucherov still.
Yeah, I got Kuch.
MVP? I'm going to go Vazzy. I think he has a... And he's also my... No. Never mind. I'm not going to say he's my breakout guy.
Okay.
I don't really think I can say that.
Yeah. Kuch is my MVP.
Okay. Breakout player. I'm going to go with Cirelli. Cirelli playing second line minutes now that Stamkos is gone. I think that he's going to get potential.
I'm going to go a guy that I was really high on when he was a Winnipeg Jet, and then I cannot believe we let him go. He's got one of the fastest skaters I've ever seen. Michael Eyssimont.
I like that. That's a good pick. I was looking at him, and I know as soon as you said Winnipeg, I'm like, yeah, he's going with him. That's a good pick. I
loved him. He was unreal. I'm so sad that he got picked up.
Rate their offense out of 10. I think it got worse, even though they brought in Gensel. I'm gonna give it I'm still gonna give it an 8 though. Actually, no, not an 8. I'm gonna give it a 7.
Okay, I was gonna say 8.
I don't like the bottom 6.
I like Michael Eyssimont.
Okay, that's fair enough. Their defense, I think, is very now with Sergachev gone, and a lot of the guys move on. To be honest, they did get JJ Moser, he was all right with Arizona. I'm still gonna go 7. To be honest, I like Hedman, but he's kind of on a downswing. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna go 6'5".
6'5"? Okay. Just Vasilevsky. It kind of is. Goaltending, I'm gonna go 8.5 just because of Vazzy. Backup's not that great though.
Yeah, I agree with you there.
Okay. Some over-unders. Let me actually pull those up real quick. Jake Gensel, over-under 65 points this coming year.
Over.
That's what I figured. Nikita Kucherov last year, if it can load, I believe had an incredible year last year, finishing with 144 points. Over-under Kucherov getting 140 again.
Under.
Under? Okay. Braden Point had 46 goals last year. Do you think he can get 50?
No.
Okay. And Vazzy had a .900 last year. Over under .910 for Vazzy this coming season.
Over.
Okay. That's what I thought. Tampa, they have them third in the Atlantic in the Hockey News' fantasy guide. Their cup odds are 23-1. Their X factor is how long Stamkos' absence hangs over the roster might determine what kind of start the team gets off to. And they need a good start. If the results don't show up on the ice in the early going, it could derail the season quickly. But if they push past the obvious storyline and show improvement, they'll remain in contention for a competitive Atlantic division. So again, Tampa, competitive. They have a really good top 6 and a really good top 4. Their point projections, Kucherov 125, Braden Point 94, and Jake Gensel 84. So overall, still a really top-heavy team, but we'll see what that overall roster can do next year. Finally, the final team in the Atlantic is the Toronto Maple Leafs. They obviously finished in the third slot with a 46-26-10 record, 102 points. They lost in first round Game 7 to Boston. They made no changes, no core changes. They let go of Bertuzzi, Brody, Samsonov, Lyubushkin, Mark Giordano, amongst others. And they brought in Chris Tanev, Anthony Stolarz, Oliver Ekman-Larsson, and that's pretty much it. So Carter, what is your floor for Tampa, for Toronto?
My floor for them is the 4.
Okay, I like that. My floor for them is also the 4. I'm gonna go 5 actually. Your ceiling? 2. Okay. My ceiling is also 2. Leading scorer, Matthews. Come on.
Ozzy.
What'd you say? Wait, what?
Oh, sorry, I'm yawning. Ozzy. Austin Matthews.
Okay, I thought this was.
Sorry, we're on a nickname basis.
Oh, okay. That's what I figured. MVP?
Same as the.
Yeah, give me Matthews for sure. Breakout player. Give me Bobby McMahon.
Yeah.
Came up last year, looked really good. Give me McMahon.
Good one. I mean, he was kind of a breakout last year, but I'm expecting a bigger year from him. Give me Matthew Nyes. I'm expecting a second leap.
Ooh, I like that. That's a good pick. And rating their offense out of 10, it's a really top-heavy offense. Bottom 6 is not that great. I'm still gonna go 8 though.
I'm gonna go 8-5.
Okay. Defense definitely got better. I'm gonna give it an 8.5.
I agree. Oh my god.
Oh man, Carter's struggling. And then goaltending. I'm gonna give it for now a 6.5.
Sorry.
What was that?
Hold on. I'm too tired for this shit. So I don't know if when we're recording, if like your recording picks it up. But Nord, you see how in your face cam, how you have that little red dot up there that shows your recording?
Yeah.
I dead ass thought that was in my backdrop.
Oh my god, you're insane.
This is bad. Oh my
All right.
god.
Oh my god, this guy's tired. We got a whole nother division to go through.
I
too.
know. I'm ready. I'm ready to just roll through this. All right, defense 8.
Goaltending is what I meant to say.
Fuck.
Goaltending.
I don't think I gave my rankings on defense. Shit. Whatever. Goaltending 4. Next question. No.
4.
I'm kidding.
Oh,
Relax.
Say.
I give it a 7.
7. Okay. All right. That's fair. Over unders. Matthews 70 goals.
70?
He just had 70. He had 69.
Yeah, but like I thought that.
All right. I'll word it this way. Does Matthews get 70 goals?
Okay, no. Like I don't think so. No.
Okay. All right. We'll come back to that. Nylander had a really good year last year. Had 98 points. Do you see him getting 90 points again, or does he regress a little bit?
Nylander?
Yeah.
I could see him getting it again.
Okay. Joseph Wall. Do you see him getting a over under 2.2 or no 2.4 goals against average?
I'd take the over.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I like that. Moving into the hockey news is your book and fantasy guide. They have Toronto at second in the Atlantic. Their cup odds are 16-1. The X factor is the swiftiest path to improvement lies in a single metric: team save percentage. Last year's .893 ranked 23rd in the Leafs pool. Never found stability in goal. Regardless of how well the roster meshes with Berube, the club will only succeed with capable net mining. I forgot about Berube too, by the way. I apologize. I keep forgetting about coaches that have been brought in. But again, I do think that it lies on the goaltending 100%. Their point projections, you have Marner at 101, Matthews at 100, and Nylander at 95. Okay. That's really interesting there from the hockey news. All right. But again, Toronto, definitely a team that it's going to be in the race, but it's a matter of what can they do in the playoffs. All right, Carter, wrapping up the Atlantic. We're halfway done. Who would you say is going to be the surprise team from the Atlantic if you had to give one?
Surprise team. Holy shit.
This is a rough one for him.
This is a really bad one. I'm used to being asleep by now. Surprise team from the Atlantic is going to be Buffalo.
Okay. Disappointing team.
Ottawa, because I'm so low on them and everyone else seems to be high. So,
All right. Dark horse.
like to win the division?
Not to get into the playoffs is what we'll say.
Buffalo.
Okay. All right. I like that. All right. Any more thoughts on the Atlantic Division?
No, I got nothing.
All right. Let's try and move swiftly through this here. We got the Metropolitan Division now, starting off with the Carolina Hurricanes. They finished 52-23-7 for 111 points. They beat the Islanders in the first round and then lost in the second round to the Rangers. They made a lot of moves. Let go of Don Waddell. They brought in Eric Tulsky. They let go of Jake Gensel, Brady Shea, Brett Pesce, Teuvo Teravainen, and Stefan Noesen. They brought in guys like William Carrier, Eric Robinson, Tyson Jost, Sean Walker, and Shane Gostisbehere. Carter, what is your floor for the Hurricanes? I'm actually going to go 4.
Really?
Yeah. I think they kind of regressed a little bit.
My floor for them is 3.
Okay. What's your ceiling? I'm going to say 1.
Yeah.
Actually, no, I'm going to go 2. I don't think they're better than the Rangers.
I don't either, but you never know. I'm going to take them at 1.
That's true. You never know. Leading score? Give me Jarvis.
I'm taking Sebastian Aho.
Okay. My MVP's Aho.
Okay. He's my MVP too.
All right. Breakout player. I love how Kuznetsov's on this depth chart. Shows you how outdated it is. I'm going to say for my breakout, Jack Drury. Because why not?
Good pick. It's time. He started off so hot last year and he cooled the down. Jesperi Kotkaniemi.
Oh boy, that's a bold one. I didn't even think about that one. It's a good one. Rate their offense out of 10. I'm gonna go, even though they lost a lot of depth, I'm still gonna go 9.
Okay, wow. Did not see. I was about to go 7-5.
Really? You don't like this that much?
I like that top unit. And then it slowly starts deteriorating.
You know, you might be right. I'm gonna go down to 7.5. Actually,
damn, you just took a crazy drop.
Yeah, I know. I think you're definitely
Listen, guys, even when I'm tired, I still know puck.
All right, fair.
I don't know what's in my background, but I know puck.
Rate the defense out of 10. Man, Carter's on a tangent this episode.
I am. I don't know what's going on with me today. I actually really like this defense. I'm gonna go 9.
This might be a 10.
I'm gonna go 9.5.
I'm gonna go 9.5 as well, but I think it's really close to a 10.
I just don't like Chatfield. I don't know why. I haven't been a Chatfield guy for like forever. I'm not a fan of him. Not a fan of his game.
I would also like to say this defense is still a 9 after losing Shea and Pesci. Like,
yeah, that's actually ridiculous.
That's actually wild. And I mean, they brought in like Walker and Gostisbehere, so I guess that kind of makes up for it a little bit. But like, that's still wild. Like their decor was stacked. It still is. Goaltending. I think it's a 9. I'm
gonna go 9.5. I think it's just as good as their defense. Anderson for some reason always seems to play at a top level in Carolina, and Kochetkov is unreal.
I like that take. Moving into the over-unders. It's going to take me a second here to load it up because I keep forgetting every damn time. First off, you have Aho scored 89 points last year. Over-under 90.5.
I'm going to take the under. I think he's just going to be above a point per game.
Okay. Natchez had a down year last year, only scored 53 points. Over under 60 points for Natchez this coming year.
Over.
Okay, I like that. Got an interesting one here for you. Jacob Slavin, known for his really good defensive play. He had a plus 21 last year. Over under plus 27.5 in his plus minus.
For who again? Sorry?
Jacob Slavin.
Over.
Okay.
Like better.
Better? Okay,
yeah.
I like that input. Moving into the hockey news is Yearbook. They have the Hurricanes 3rd in the Metro. Their cup odds are 19-1. Their X factor is for a team that's piled up regular season wins without winning a single game in the conference finals. These changes, may be a welcome catalyst. If Kochetkov steps up in net and players like Drury and Kotkaniemi flourish in expanded roles, the Canes may not miss a beat. I like that input. Their point projections are Aho 87, Jarvis 70, and Svechnikov 70 as well. So overall, Carolina, they lost a lot, but I think they're still going to be really competitive overall in the standings. Next up, we got the Columbus Blue Jackets. Let me scroll to them real quick. The Blue Jackets finished 27, 43, and 12 for 66 points. They were 8th in the Metro last year. They made a few moves. They let go of some guys in Texier, Bean, Boquist, and obviously Johnny Gaudreau passed away. Their ads were Monahan and Jack Johnson. That's the only notable guys they brought in. Carter, what is your floor? It's 8. My ceiling is 8. I'm just saying. Mine. I don't think they're better than that.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail right on the coffin there.
Yeah, unfortunately, like I just got to be honest. They also did bring in Don Waddell and Dean Evison, so I got to say that they did bring in some new coaching. Or they also lost Line too. I keep forgetting about that. It's not written down here in the notebook. Who is your leading scorer for this team now? I'm gonna say Fantilli.
Yeah, it's gonna be Adam Fantilli.
MVP, give me Zach Werenski.
I got Fantilli still.
Okay. Breakout player. I think, to be honest, I'm going to say Fantilli. Like, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah. My entire thing's just going to be Adam Fantilli.
Like, I mean, he's got to have a breakout year at some point. If we did, like, a bounce back, I think it's Cole Sillinger or Ken Johnson that are guys who bounce back for sure. There's no way with all that talent you don't bounce back. Overall, rate this offense out of 10. Shit, it might be like a 4, to be honest. Like losing Goudreau is a massive hit. Like a massive hit on and off the ice. What do you think?
Yeah.
Are you for with me?
Yeah.
Really? Okay. Defense. The defense is, I think it's still bad. 4.5. Ivan Provorov on the defense. You can't sit here and tell me that the defense is good.
5. It's as high as I'd go.
Okay. I think if Juracek and Matejchuk have good years, then it's a different story. But really, right now, it's definitely 5. Goaltending is, I wish I could put it at 0. 3.
2.5.
I'm gonna go down to 2. Actually,
I'm gonna go down to 1.3 for Johnny Gaudreau.
That's awesome. I think that this goaltending is so weak. It's insane. Over unders. Hang on a second. Let me pull them up. Sorry about that. Over under Adam Fantilli 50 points.
Over.
Okay, I thought that was going to be your answer because obviously, he's your leading scorer. Over under, if it could load. Over under Zach Werenski 55.5 points. He had 57 last year.
Under.
Okay. Ivan Provorov over under minus 15 plus minus. The guy had a negative 11 last year. And for those who don't know, I'm super low on Provorov.
Yeah.
Okay. Merzlikins over under 0.900. Yeah,
Under.
0.97. Under? Okay. Are you slamming the under or are you taking a little bit under?
I am alt spreading that to an 850.
That's all. That's great. Hockey News' fantasy guide, 8th in the Metro. Their cup odds are 90-1. The X factor is the only way the Blue Jackets could surprise if Fantilli has a breakout year. The defense plays better than expected, and multiple young forwards enjoy breakout seasons. Getting Werenski back to top scoring form would also help. Their point projections, you have Gaudreau, you have Monahan 60, Werenski 56, and Fantilli at 54. They have Gaudreau listed on here, but unfortunately, really unfortunate. But again, Columbus, I think that honestly everyone's rooting for him, to be honest. But this is going to be a year where it's going to be a really bad year yet again. Next up, then I think is the New Jersey Devils. If I'm right, I think we skip all of those teams and go over to the Devils. The Devils, to say they had a disappointing year is a severe understatement. They finished with a 38, 39-5 record for 81 points. They were 7th in the Metro. They had a horrible year. They let go of some guys, let go of John Marino, Alexander Holtz, Akira Schmid. They fired Lindy Roth midway through the year, but they brought in Sheldon Keefe as their new coach. They brought in Jacob Markstrom, Thomas Tatar, Paul Cotter, Brett Pesci, and Brendan Dillon. Carter, what is your floor and ceiling for this team?
My floor and ceiling?
Yep.
My floor for the New Jersey Devils is going to be the 4.
4?
And my ceiling for them is the 2.
I'm going 5 and 2. What I think. And again, we think that you can clearly tell that we think that last year was a fluke. And that they're going to get back in it next year. Who is your leading scorer? I think it's Jack Hughes for me.
Yeah.
It's got to be. MVP, also Jack Hughes. Just saying. It's got to be, again. Your breakout player. This is interesting. I'm going to say I think Dawson Mercer gets back on the positive.
Yeah, I was trying to. Yeah, I was trying to think if I should put him, but he's been around for so long. I'd go. I guess I'll go Mercer as well.
Mercer had a down year last year, so I think that definitely That's something to keep in mind. Rate the offense out of 10. It's honestly, I think it's an 8. Might be like a 9, not gonna lie.
That offense is a 9.
I think it is a 9, you're right. That it's top heavy, good depth too. Defense, I think is shit. Carter, this might be a 10. Carter, this might be a 10. What do you think? I think I'm going 9 or 9.5.
I'm going 9.
Okay. I don't know. Like, this is a really good blue line. Goaltending, I'm going a 7.5.
Yeah, I go that.
I don't know. I think Markstrom is definitely better than what they had, but it's not like spectacular. Over-unders. Here I am. It's late at night in the East Coast. I'm sorry, guys. It's why we're kind of a little bit slacking. But regardless, over-unders. Jack Hughes, over-under 100 points. He had 74 last year.
Over.
But he missed a lot of time. Okay. Nico Hischier, over-under 60 points. 67 last year.
I'll take over.
Okay. Dawson Mercer had a down year, as we said. He had 33 points last year. Over under 50 points for Mercer.
Over.
I like that. And then Jacob Markstrom, their new goalie, over under 0.910. He had a 0.95 in Calgary.
I'll take the under. Okay. Or no, I'll take the over. Sorry.
I was gonna say, yeah, I like the over. Moving into the hockey news is yearbook. They have the Devils at first in the Metro. Their cup odds are 10-1. Their X factor is goaltending. Period. If the Devils are better in net, they can improve on last season's paltry .886 save percentage. They're a completely different team. Markstrom should be able to do that, as the veteran brings a career .909 and a 2.73 goals against to the new club. Again, Sheldon Keefe brought in as the new coach. I like him a lot. Their point projections: Jack Hughes 90, Bratt 80, Hischier 75. So the Devils bounce back. Yes, is what we seem to be agreeing on. Next up, then, moving into the New York Islanders. The Islanders broke into the playoffs last year with a 39, 27, and 16 record for 94 points. They lost in the first round to the Carolina Hurricanes. They didn't make a lot of moves. They let go of Cal Clutterbuck, but they brought in Anthony Duclair, Liam Foudy, and Maxim Tisplikov. Carter, what is your floor?
My floor for this team is 8.
8? That is, my floor is 7. To be honest. Wait. Never mind. I'm going 7 for the Islanders. My ceiling is 3. Again, I think it's 3. Because I'm never going to count them out. I always count them out every damn year. I'm not doing it this year. Nope.
I think that their ceiling is 6.
Even though here I am putting them at like 27th in my 32-1.
Yeah.
Which by the way I've been kind of inconsistent about. I apologize. It's been a busy week. For the people who follow the Instagram. Your leading scorer?
Barzal.
I'm gonna say Barzal. MVP Sorokin.
Barzal still.
Okay. Breakout player?
Bro, I don't even know.
I might not pick anyone here.
I don't know who can break out on this team. Give me Romanov, I guess. I don't know. He's like the only one I think that has.
I'm saying no one. I'm saying nobody.
I can pick. Wait, I can pick no one, right?
Yeah, you can pick no one.
Okay.
Because I don't. It's like, I think Romanov's already like solid. I would say like if I pick someone like Wallstrom, it's a stretch. He's been like the breakout candidate for years. honestly, you could say like Simon Holmstrom, but he broke out last year. So like I don't know. I'm gonna say no one. Rate the team's offense. I'm gonna go a 7.
I'll go 6.
Again, like you think it's bad, but then they end up making the playoffs with it. Defense. The defense is one of their strengths. I'm gonna say it's a 8. I like the defense.
I do too.
You're saying 8th as well?
Yeah.
Okay. Goaltending, I think is honestly when it's fully good in their prime, I think it's a 9.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie to you. I think it's a 9.
Their goaltending?
Yeah.
I'm giving it a 10.
Really?
Because Varlamov could be a starter for any team. Sorokin could be a starter for any team.
You're right.
I'm going 10.
I agree with you. 10. Over unders. Over under Sorokin 0.915.
Over.
Over. All right. Let me wait for this to load. Over under Barzal 85 points. He had 80 last year.
I'll take the over.
Slamming like right on the dot. I think that's where he finishes. Noah Dobson had 70 points last year. Do you think he has a regression year?
No.
Points wise. Okay. That's all I got. Hockey News' fantasy guide, 4th in the Metro. Cup odds are 29-1. Their X factor is Barzal continues to elevate his game, and the 27-year-old needs to keep that going as he enters his 8th full NHL season. Barzal scored a career-high 23 goals last year, and his 80 points were second most to the 85 he recorded in his rookie year. The playmaker needs to be at his best 5-on-5, and the power play for the Islanders to excel. So again, Islanders, big point there. Their point projections, Horvat, Barzal, and Nelson and Dobson are tied at 70. So interesting there. Overall, we're halfway through the Metropolitan. Now we move on to the New York Rangers. Last year, the Rangers finished first in the National Hockey League, first in the Metropolitan with a 55-23-4 record for 114 points. They swept the Capitals in the first round. They beat the Hurricanes in the second round and then lost to Florida in the Eastern Conference Finals. They made some moves. They brought in Riley Smith, Sam Carrick. They let go of Barclay Goudreau, Eric Gustafson, Blake Wheeler, and Jack Roslovic. Carter, what's your floor? I think mine is 2.
Yeah.
As long as Shesterkin's their goalie, it's 2. Ceiling's 1.
Yeah.
Just being honest. Leading scorer, I'm going to say Panarin.
Yeah.
MVP, I'm going Shesterkin, without question.
Yeah.
Breakout player, I don't know. Lafreniere kind of broke out last year.
Mm-hmm. Rempe?
Would you really say Rempe, though?
No.
I don't know if Rempe's a breakout player.
No.
Maybe
I'm
Will.
gonna go Braden Schneider.
Ooh, I like that. I like that pick a lot. That's a good pick. Rate the team's offense. Not gonna lie, a 9.
Yeah, they got a really good offense.
Defense is as long as Trouba's there, it's probably an 8 or a 7.5. Actually, no, because you got Adam Fox, 8.5. Trouba's not that good, but I think the rest of the defense is terrific.
Yeah, I agree.
Goaltending, I think, is a 10. I'm sorry. Like Shesterkin, best goalie in the league, top 3 goalie at best or at worst. Quick had a really good year last year, so I think that it's a 10, 100%. Over unders for the Rangers. Over under Panarin 50 goals.
Over.
I'm going to say over as well. I think he gets around 40. Another one for Panarin here. Over under 110 points. He had 120 last year.
I'll take the over.
I like that. Matt Rempe over under 100 penalty minutes.
Over.
You're slamming that over? Okay. You think he's really gonna slot in for that many games though?
Probably not, but if he pretty much hit 100 last season.
Yeah, that's my only. He had 71, so I guess that's a fair.
Yeah, exactly. And he played 20 games?
Yeah, he also scored against the Flyers.
Yeah, but he also scored the first goal of the Rangers playoffs, so.
He did. That's right, he did actually. When you look at the Hockey News' yearbook, they are second in the Metros, their projection. Their cup odds are 14-1. The biggest X factor is if Lafreniere can score 35-plus goals and 70-plus points, that will be a game changer. Two other elements that could shift the dynamic, the fates of Trouba and Kakko, who departures could free up cap space and perhaps add personnel. Their point projections are Panarin 107, Fox 82, and Zibanejad 80. So overall, it is going to be another solid year for the Rangers. Their prospect pool is actually decent. They got some good guys in there. So again, the Rangers building what I think is a very good core and a nice future there in the city of New York. Moving on now to the Philadelphia Flyers. This should be a fun one. The Flyers completely surprised last year, finishing sixth in the division with a 38-33-11 record for 87 points. Now, even though they were sixth, don't let that discredit you. They were a really good team this past year, despite missing the playoffs. They didn't do a ton. They brought in Matvei Michkov. They let go of Cam Atkinson, Mark Stahl, and Carter Hart. Carter, what's your floor for the Flyers?
My floor for the Flyers is 7.
7, that's mine as well. Ceiling's difficult. I'm going to go 3.
4.
4? Okay. I know people might disagree with that, but I think the Flyers, they're underrated. Leading scorer is Konechny for me.
Yeah, it's not even a question.
Yeah, unless Michkov has a Ovechkin rookie year. MVP, I think, is probably Konechny too. Unless if Michkov really improves that power play.
Yeah.
Then I guess I could say Michkov, but I think it's gonna be Konechny, without a doubt. Breakout player. Listen, there's a few names you could go with here. I'm just gonna say Matvei Michkov. Come on. You could go with Tyson Forster too, actually. That's another guy that I think could do well.
Yeah, there's so many guys in this round. I'm gonna go.
Forster had a good year last year, actually.
There's so many guys I could go with. I think Farabee could actually have a breakout year and continue what he started with last year. Forster's a great option. Morgan Frost is due, but I'm gonna go Cam York. Kind of broke out a little last year, but I think we'll see more of him this year.
I like that. That's a great pick.
Or even Jamie Drysdale.
Yeah, not gonna lie, Drysdale's another pick there too that you often forget about. He's towards the bottom of this list. Rate the team out of 10. Offense, I'm gonna go 7.5.
That's fair.
I think you could argue an 8, but I'm gonna just say 7.5. I think it's better than people think, but
I'm going 7.
Okay. Defense. Defense is it's meh. It's a lot of what ifs on that blue line. I'm gonna go 7.
I was gonna go 6.5.
Yeah, I think you might be right. Because after the first 3 defenders, after honestly Sanheim and York, it's a bunch of what ifs.
Yeah.
Goaltending, I'm sorry. I know Urson's here and he's solid, but right now it's probably a 5.
Yeah.
Although I do think that Urson, I think he gets discredited a lot, and I think people write off Fedotov after 3 games. So again, what's funny is that the guy hasn't even won a game in his career yet. That's the craziest part. Some over-unders. Matvey Michkov, 25 goals. I think we got to give some Michkov.
Over.
Over? Wow. Over-under Travis Konechny, 70 points. He had 60.
Over.
Over. Over-under Tyson Forster, 50 points. He had...
Over.
Wow, man's hitting over all these. I'll give you one more.
These are
Jamie Drysdale over under 20 or 30 points.
Over.
My gosh.
Giving me 3 lines, man. Like, come on.
Fair enough. You should just bet those right now.
Probably not what the odds are.
Yeah. The predictions from the Hockey News is 7th in the Metro for the Flyers. Cup odds 63-1. Their X factor is the Flyers don't have enough depth to overcome a slew of injuries, especially if they happen to keep players such as Konechny, Sanheim, and Forster. Philadelphia needs continued production from Owen Tippett, Joel Farabee, and Morgan Frost to the secondary scores such as Noah Cates and Bobby Brink to improve last year's totals. Their point projections, they have Konechny at 69, Tippett at 59, and Frost at 57. So I like those projections. Again, Philadelphia... They looked good last year. They fell off at the end, but they are honestly a sleeper playoff team in my eyes. People might not like that, but they are. 2 more teams left, Carter. The Pittsburgh Penguins, they finished another disappointing year last year with a 38-32-12 record for 88 points. They missed by only like 3 points. That's what people forget. But they had a really bad first half of the year. They let go of Riley Smith, Pierre-Olivier Joseph, Jeff Carter, and they brought in Anthony Beauvillier, Kevin Hayes, Matt Grzelcyk, and the other Sebastian Aho. So, Carter, what is your floor for this Penguins? I'm going to say 7.
I'm going to say 6.
Okay. What's your ceiling? I'm going to say 4.
Yeah, I got 4 as well.
I just don't see them as like a top 3 team anymore. Like, I look at that offense, it's not strong at all. Like,
yeah.
Yeah. And listen, I don't see the hype around them. Like, yeah, you could say Sidney Crosby, but I don't see the hype, to be honest. Leading scorer, it's Crosby. And MVP is also Crosby.
Yeah, that's not even a question.
Yeah, we don't even need to go into that. Breakout player is actually interesting. I'm going to go with Valtteri Puustinen. I think it's Puustinen, though. Do you know that Jesse Puljujarvi's on this team?
Yeah.
Kind of forgot he existed, to be honest with you.
I don't know. Do I even want to say the breakout?
Who is it?
You know who it is.
I'm looking at the...
You're not going to see it on there.
Oh! Rucker! I forgot about Rucker. He's not in this freaking thing here. Oh man, I forgot about him. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Rucker then. Oh my god, he's not in this because it's outdated. Oh shit, yeah, that's right. They also brought in McGroarty, so I kind of forgot about that. I hope I didn't forget anything else throughout this video.
Cody Glass.
Episode. They did bring in Cody Glass, but he's not a game changer. McGroarty isn't a game changer either, but he's definitely someone I should mention.
Thank you. About time. No, I'm kidding.
Rating the team's offense out of 10, I'm sorry, it's like a 6.
Yeah. No.
Actually, no, because you have Crosby.
I would give it an 8. 5. No, 7, 5.
Give me a 7.5. That's what I'm gonna say. Defense. Like a 6. Maybe 5.5. I'm not high on that defense at all.
6.
Like, both Carlson and Letang were terrible last year. So I don't know. Goaltending's not bad. I give the goaltending like an 8.
Yeah.
Maybe a little lower, but I think that
7.
All right. Over-unders. Sidney Crosby over under 100 points.
100? Under.
I could see Crosby popping off because it's a contract year.
I don't see him getting 100 though.
Now, I'll ask you this question. Crosby, it is September 6th right now. Ironically, we started this September 5th, but it's September 6th right now when I'm in my time zone. It's still the 5th for Carter. But Draisaitl signed an extension, and Crosby still hasn't signed yet. Looking at Stamkos last year, obviously the guy felt disrespected by what the Lightning were doing to him. Are you a little bit worried that Crosby could leave Pittsburgh?
So I saw this rumor earlier today, and listed the Winnipeg Jets as a possible destination.
I have that right here, dude. Oh my god!
I'm not trying to say this is a possibility, but it could be a possibility.
Yeah, that's what I figured. But again, I'm not saying like Winnipeg or not. Do you think Crosby could leave the Penguins?
Sorry. I don't. If he does, I don't think he wants to. I think they'll ship him off at the deadline. But no matter what, I think he's re-signing to be a Penguin for life.
Okay, I agree with that. I think that's fair. Erik Karlsson over under 60 points. He had 56 last year.
Under.
All right. Tristan Jarry over under a .905 save percentage.
Under.
All right. Moving into the hockey news is yearbook. They are 6th in the Metro. Their cup odds are 46-1, and their X factor is Crosby's contract status could affect the team's physique. He's eligible to become a UFA next summer and didn't immediately sign to an extension when he became allowable. So, again, that's something that you got to think about. Again, we literally just talked about that. Their point projections, you have Crosby at 91, Rust and Karlsson tied at 65. So, again, the Penguins, they are in a weird spot right now, I would say, but we'll see what they're going to be able to do heading into the 2024-25 offseason. And finally, Carter, we're finally at the end. The Washington Capitals. Shout out to the Capitals fans who probably listened to this whole episode and waited for us to get to this point. The Capitals, they surprised last year. They made the playoffs with a 40-31-11 record for 91 points. They ended up getting swept by the New York Rangers. They made a lot of moves. They let go of Jensen, Kemper, Pacioretty, Abe-Kubel, and brought in Dubois, Mangiapane, Duhaime, Chychrun, Roy, and Logan Thompson. So interesting moves there. Carter, what is your floor for the Capitals?
6.
What is your ceiling?
4.
That's also my floor and ceiling overall for the team. So good, we got that out of the way. Their leading scorer, it's probably Ovechkin again, right?
Dylan Strome.
Okay. MVP?
Dylan Strome.
I'm gonna go Ovechkin for my MVP. Who's your breakout player?
Connor McMichael or Hendrix Lapierre, but I'm going to say McMichael.
That's a good answer. I think McMichael's in for a breakout year. I'm going to say McMichael as well. Rate the offense out of 10.
6.5.
No, I think it's better than that. I think it's a 7.5. I like the out of Mangiapane. That's what I'll say. Defense. Defense got better. I'm gonna give it a
8.5.
I'm gonna give it an 8. That's where I am going to stick with. Goaltending. Goaltending, I think got better. Give me like a 7.
I'm going 6.5.
I like Lindgren, and I like Thompson. I think it's a good.
Not high on Lindgren.
All right, I guess that's fair. Over unders. Actually, let's this question first. Do you think Ovechkin can get the goal record?
Not this season. He's got one more.
All right. Over under Dubois. He had 40 points last year. Over under 55 points.
How many again?
55 points.
Over.
Really? Okay. Mangiapane had 14 goals last year. Struggled. Over under 20 goals for Mangiapane.
Over.
All right. And then we'll go to goaltending since you're not that confident. Charlie Lindgren had a .911 last year. Over under .915.
Under.
Okay. All right. Moving into the hockey news is yearbook. It has the Capitals 5th in the Metro. Their cup odds are 40-1, and their X factor is after a disappointing season in LA, Dubois joins his 4th team in 5 years. Dubois' ice time was limited in Los Angeles, but a bigger role is envisioned in DC. With a hefty contract of a 4-year no-move clause, Dubois must deliver. So again, we know Carter's opinion on Dubois. Carter actually thinks he's going to do better in Washington than he did in LA, so hopefully it goes that way. And then your point projections are Strome 68, Ovechkin 63, and Dubois 60. So again, that is it for the Metro. Carter, who is your surprise team?
Surprise team?
I'm saying Flyers.
Yeah. Yeah, my surprise team is going to be the Flyers.
Who's your disappointing team?
Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I'm saying Pittsburgh as well. Who's your dark horse?
I guess Philly as well.
Give me the Islanders.
I'm low on them.
That's what I'm going to say. All right, wrapping up the whole conference. Carter, who's winning the conference?
New Jersey.
Really?
I'm going to make a shot in the dark prediction.
I'm saying Rangers still. Who finishes last in the conference? Columbus. That's what I have.
Yeah, I got Columbus.
All right. Well, Carter, you think we're done, but we're not. We have we have some questions from the fans that we have to answer. This won't take that long.
No! It's a 2-hour episode. How much more of our voices do you want to hear?
This first one comes from Quincy Winstead, who says Eastern Dark Horse. We already said this, kind of. But overall,
we went over our 2. I mean, you can go and listen. I don't have one for the entire thing. You got to...
Overall in the East, I would say Detroit. No, Ottawa. Ottawa's my pick.
Overall, you are smoking crack. Buffalo.
You know Carter's tired. Carter's tired as hell.
Yeah.
This question comes from Dello37. What if the Devils miss the playoffs again? What's their next move? I don't know. That's a good question, actually.
They've changed the coach, and they've changed the goalie.
Fitzgerald?
Huh?
Would they fire the GM Fitzgerald? Because that's like their own.
No, you can't. I think you gotta just regroup and find something else. Like you can't. I don't think you're firing your GM because he's done so much.
Yeah, that's true. I think it's honestly almost impossible for them to let go of him.
I think the only thing that they could do is the defense, but even then, it's really good. So it's
exactly.
Maybe that third line a bit, but I don't know. This team looks really good.
Yeah, it's almost like impossible for them to miss.
That's what it seems like. Yeah, barring injuries.
Yeah, that was the thing that affected them. Like we talked about like the goaltending, but the injuries were a really big factor last year why they didn't make it. This next one comes from Checking From Behind. Most overrated team and most underrated team in the conference heading into the season. Overrated, I'm saying Pittsburgh. I'm sorry. I don't see the hype around Pittsburgh whatsoever. Yes, I understand they have Crosby, but that's about it. That's all they have.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think, Carter?
Most overrated Ottawa. It's crazy, but the fact that everyone is just seems so high on them, and I'm so low. It's like, okay, well, either someone's gonna be wrong here, and I back my own head. So,
all right, fair enough. Underrated might kind of be Buffalo. I might be on Carter's end here. Like, I guess you could honestly actually say Philly too, because a lot of people are writing Philly off.
I might put, honestly, here's my thing. I could put any of those, like I think Buffalo, Montreal, Detroit are some of my underrated teams. Just from that Atlantic division of teams that could be fighting for that 4 or that last wild card spot.
Yeah, that team alone. Or that division alone is wild. This last question comes from Sierra Show 19 asking, why is Jack a nerd?
Oh, that's a great question. Really wish he was. You know what I just realized? This
What?
whole episode has taken 2 hours, and we didn't have Jack. If we had Jack, I would be in bed by now.
Oh yeah, we probably would be around 2:30. This would be the longest episode, which we're coming up on that right now. Actually,
God.
I think the longest episode we've ever done is like 2 hours and 10 minutes, and we're through 2 hours. So yeah, but again, we have Jack in here. It's crazy. I'm still kind of shocked that he picked a volleyball tournament over us.
I'm not. This guy is trying to live his frat life, man. I'm just going to let him live.
That's fair. That's fair. He's living in the frat house. You gotta let him live his life.
Yeah, man.
I mean, since we'll wrap up with this. Since we just got done the episode, I'm pretty sure the second half of Ravens Chiefs
It's
is
over. They
And
lost.
Won 27-20. Wow. Yikes.
Lost by an inch. Isaiah Likely, who is on the bench in my dynasty league, which such a great pick for me.
Oh, of course.
He was an inch out on the toe in the game. He had a catch with no time on the clock, but his toe was out. And football's a great sport, man.
Rough times in this world. Yeah, that's all we got.
Can I go to bed?
Yes, you can go to bed. Wait till I end the recording, though. That's all we got for this episode of the NordCast. This is the second longest episode in the history of the channel. This is the third 2-hour-long episode that we've done. A few things to go over. Again, we talked about how we're going to do Western Conference preview next week. Carter's looking at me like he wants to kill me right now, but
We are recording at 5 p.m. Central Time. I don't care.
Okay, we'll do that.
Good.
Also, for the people who signed up to become either a fill-in, come on for a few episodes, or to manage clips, we will get to you soon. The clip managers, you will be emailed when this episode drops or messaged saying that what we're going to do is we're going to release this episode for you guys, and you guys are going to make some clips out of it. Show us what you can do. Watch the episode. Show us what you can do. And we'll bring you onto the team as a producer. The fill-ins is going to be a different thing. We're going to have to come on and interview you. Like, we're not just going to give it to you. Interview you a little bit. Talk about, like everything in that.
Do I get to be a part of this?
Carter, you do get to be a part of this. I'm going to have you interview some people on your own.
Wait, what? That is not a good idea.
So in other words, let Will sign up.
Can I hold on. I gotta text them.
Oh Lord.
Send me the form.
Okay, it's on my Instagram.
Okay,
All right.
good.
All right, that's all we got for episode number 70 of the NordCast. Carter, any final thoughts?
Go Birds.
Go Birds. All right, well, that'll conclude episode number 70 of the NordCast. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed, make sure to subscribe down below. If you're watching, if you're listening, give us a good review. Tell your friends. Follow us on Spotify, because why not? If you want to follow the NordCast Instagram, follow at NordCast _. If you want to follow the NordCast TikTok, follow at NordCast. If you want to follow the NordCast Twitter, follow at NordCast _. I will put a link down below for everyone's social medias. Additionally, too, if you want to donate to Matthew Goudreau and his family, we will have that link down below as well. But anyways, thank you for watching and listening. This is again another episode of the NordCast. We will see you guys in the next episode. Adios.